Hey guys, welcome back to my podcast. My name is Chandali, aka Chandali the Esthetician, and I'm so excited to have you guys here today. Guys, pull up a seat. I'm so excited for my amazing guest. She is just incredible. She has been in the beauty industry for quite some time. So without further ado, thank you so much for coming on the show. This is Hannah.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Yes, of course, Hannah. I am so excited to have you here. So, first, I just want to get a couple introductions out of the gate so that people know who you are,
Yes.
and kind of why I wanted to have you on. So, you actually have a well CBD type brand currently. Is that
Right.
my understanding?
Yeah, and I just launched my non-CBD products in November, but yes, it's called Well Products, but the brand is Well.
Well products, the brand as well. And so, you have CBD infused products, and then you also have products that are not including CBD.
Right, right. So I call it the Rose Gold Collection and then the Emerald Collection with the CBD. And the Rose Gold Collection, I say, are fun, flirty products for grown-ups. It's more, for the marketplace that we're in, the
That
professional.
makes sense entirely. So somebody who's looking for something that's a little sultry, sexy type energy.
Yes,
Good.
yes.
Okay, that's fun. Well, congratulations. That's
Thank
huge.
you. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
That
So
must feel like so incredible to be able to accomplish so much so far.
yeah, well, so I like you as you mentioned, I've been in the industry for a long time. It's gonna be about 17 years. The brand is gonna be 5 years old in August. But I launched a lot of brands that have now been bought by like multi-billion dollar Estee Lauder, L'Oreal. So I originally got my start in 2006 when I launched the company Revitalash out of my living room. Do you know what
Oh,
Revitalash
wow.
is?
Yes, I do. Who
Yeah.
doesn't?
Yes. So the doctor who invented it lives in the same little beach town that I live in. And I heard about this product that he was making for his wife and her friends and tracked him down. I had my own marketing company then that
Oh,
had
wow.
nothing to do with beauty. I had no idea what I was doing. And I convinced him to make it into a product and I launched it out of my living room. And I was a single mom with
Oh
a
my gosh. That is
yeah, with a
crazy.
4-year-old who was making forts out of USPS boxes, and, like, I literally had no idea what I was doing, but, I just kept going, and 6 years later, we were in 69 countries and 1,400 locations domestically, and we had the biggest booths, the trade show, and all the things,
Oh my
and
god.
then yeah, and then after that, I owned a distribution company, and, what I found which most Esties don't know because they haven't been around this long, but I have. So after the recession of 2008, like before the recession, it was like trade shows were so different. Like they just used to play Enya, or literally there would be someone playing a harp. I'm not freaking joking. Okay. Like
No.
that's how the industry was. Okay. So when it came to selling products, they were like, no, we're all about the experience. We do not
Mhm.
sell products. Right. Well, then the recession happened and it got rid of all that old thinking because all those big, regional manager salaries had to be eliminated. So all those people were
Yep.
gone. So then you had people like Lisa from Live Love Spa, me, Michael from Circadia, Paul, who now owns Creative Juice. He at the time owned Salt of the Earth. We were like the kids that people used to tell us to be quiet because we were too loud. And
You're
so when they
kidding
were all,
me.
no, I swear to you, I have so many stories. I could tell you like exact examples of me and Michael being at IECSC in New York in March of 2007 and people telling us to go back to our booth because we were laughing too loud. Like it's
Wow.
crazy. Yeah.
That's so wild,
We were
especially when I think of
interrupting
trade
the
shows
harp
now.
music. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying, right? So anyway, so there's a whole change in the industry, which was super exciting. It gave us room to grow, and you can see what's happened since, right? And
Yeah.
so, in my distribution company, of course, because I came from Revitalash and no one knew who I was, I came from nothing. They were like, "Who is this girl?" Because I'm 6 foot tall, curly black hair. I laugh extremely loud. It's
Yeah,
just me.
you're a vibe, you're
Yes.
fun.
So what I decided was I was going to start a distribution company that helped retail, spas bring in retail. It could be incorporated in the back bar, but didn't have to be.
Okay.
So I just wanted it to easily, because I knew like selling was just so weird for Estes, and spas in general. So I launched all these products. So have you ever heard of Glam Glow?
Yes, I have.
Okay, I launched Glam Glow. They were one little skew, and the husband worked for Bliss Spa, and the wife was a paralegal, and we launched them out of their house.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, 1 year later, they became the number one selling SKU in Sephora in all the world with
Yes.
Super Mud, the white box. So that was launched after I took over. So they had the black one, and that was
Uh,
it.
oh my god.
So yeah, and they didn't even have the black one. Like they had not released it. It was in Neiman Marcus, one Neiman Marcus store, because he was friends with the buyer. He was he
Wow.
was Neiman Marcus esthetician. So he was like, "I'll take your one little product and put it on the shelf." So we just ran with it, and so we launched that, and so we launched that one. We launched Marula oils, Smile Actives, Luminous, which has
Wow.
all kinds of new products that are really cool. Then we also launched the retail side of Kaplan MD, Spa Ritual, and then we did Chandali, and all kinds, and then
Wow.
yes, that was really crazy. I had this 43,000 square foot building and like 87 employees, and it got out of hand. But what happened was, if you remember, I'm doing a whole history lesson.
I
Sorry.
love it. No, no, please. Like this, I'm like on the edge of my seat right now.
So in 2018, remember it was like, no, yes, 2018, everything was indie brands, right? Okay,
Yes.
we're all remember this, okay?
Yes, we do.
Everything was about what was hot on Instagram, and they were called indie brands. Well, then all the huge companies decided to be like in a race to buy up as many indie brands as possible. So
Okay.
literally in 1 week, 8 of my 12 brands were bought from underneath me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I went out of business in 1 week. Now, the good news was that I had a giant warehouse full of inventory, and then they let me order one more time. So I essentially mortgaged the house for that one more time so that I could see how long I could last. Because my whole thought was I'll find new brands, right?
Yeah.
Because you go into panic mode. You're not really
You
like
of
thinking things
course.
through, right? So you're like, this is what I got. I've got the rent of a 43,000 square foot building. And
Girl.
anyone who's opened their own place, it's like by the square foot is what you pay, right? I have 87 employees. Like you can imagine the stress.
Oh my gosh.
So then I was like, I'm gonna find a CBD brand because the CBD is like the hot new, and I'm always bringing the hot new thing. Always, that's like what I do, right? So I started looking for a brand. I'm like, are you guys making this in the tub of your mom's house? Like, what is happening? You know what I
Like,
mean?
where is this shit
It's
from?
crazy, right? And so then if it was a legit company, they only made like dispensary stuff. So for our professionals, I was like, where's your test to show the ingredients are clean? They're like, we don't have any because it has butane in it because the extraction process. I'm like, holy. So finally I was like, never mind, I'll just make my own brand, which of course you can imagine for 10, 12 years, everyone's like, why don't you just make your own brand? Like, why do you keep making everybody else rich? And I'm like, I'm not a maker. And
Yeah.
honestly, to this day, I'll tell you, I am not a maker. Like, this is not the life for me. Okay.
Really?
Watcher.
Tell
And
me
it's
the spelling
okay
of
to
this.
say that. Yeah, no, I swear to you, like, it's okay to say, like, I don't like this, or I'm not good at this. Right. And
Wow.
and so anyways, we'll go back to that. But so I decided to make it, okay? And I'm going to tell you how I started this because I swear to you, like everyone else can take lessons from this, okay? So
Okay.
I decided June 17th that I was going to start a new brand and launch it August 1st,
Yay!
okay? And I was like, I am going to work day and night. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to do all the things. And the reason why I wanted to start it August 1st, because Lisa from Live Love Spa was launching the very first annual wellness month.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm gonna jump on board this train because I know like Live Love Spa does so much marketing
Yeah.
and CBD was so cool to talk about, because no one
Mhm.
had it yet. This is 2018. It wasn't even really legal yet, It wasn't
Right.
illegal, but it wasn't legal. Like I couldn't get
Like
insurance
we
on
were
it.
getting it clear.
We knew by the end of the year, like the farm bill would be passed. So I was like, I'm going first. I remember thinking to myself, if someone does this first, I'll be so pissed. Like,
Yes.
you know what I mean?
This
And
was
so
my idea.
yeah, right? So, and people were talking, I could hear rumbles, and I'm like, "No." I knew nobody could do it faster than me.
Yeah.
So I launched August 1st. It was not perfect, I promise you. It was like
Wait,
many
so
iterations.
you launched your gold date.
Yeah, yeah.
Girl, I am
And
just
believe
like,
me,
mouth is on the
I've
floor right
revised
now,
it.
Hannah.
No, I've revised it. Like, you can launch without being perfect, it just has to be good enough, okay? So, and where did I get the name? I was like, and we can go into this too. I teach classes on this. It doesn't matter what your name is. Like just it's all about the marketing, okay?
Mm.
And so here wellness was becoming this huge word and everybody was starting to use it instead of the beauty industry. We're now going to be called the wellness industry and wellness was this whole thing. And this was pre-COVID. We were already getting into it. Now post-COVID, like it's all you hear, right? So
Right.
and then Lisa was launching Wellness Month, and I was like, "I'm just gonna call it Well," and that's what I did
Girl. Yes.
because
First
it
of
was
all,
shorter than wellness, you know?
yeah, I like it because it's like it tells you what we're doing. Like
Yeah,
you're going to be
you're gonna
well.
be
This is leading
well.
towards wellness.
Yeah,
Like
you're
it's good.
balancing. Yeah, and you never want to be too specific about what it is, right?
Okay.
So for instance, like hydropeptide. I've been friends with hydropeptide when before they were hydropeptide, they were called April Rain.
Stop, because I am so obsessed with hydropeptide and that is
So am I. So am I. Like, don't get me started. And so I've been through the whole like the whole thing with them. And when you're a manufacturer, when you're a vendor and everything, you share secrets with each other. You become very good friends. And also we all go to the same shows. So sometimes we see each other more than we see our families. Like
yeah, for sure.
Chris is one of the owners. When he's at a show and his wife can't find him, he's not answering the phone. She calls me. She's like, "Do you know where Chris is? Because my son just bumped his head." I'm like, "Yep, I see him. Let me go get him." Like it's
He's right
hilarious.
here.
No, I swear, like it's like 16, 17 years together. This is what happens. So, so anyway, so I
Wow.
launched. It was not perfect, but
Mhm.
I had created a reputation for myself in the industry that one, I'm first. Two, I come up with some good shit.
Yeah, you
And
do.
three, I stand by my word. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And
Mhm.
and it's so funny. I remember several, especially men, which is really funny. It was all men now that I think about it that asked me this. They were like, "How do you get this stuff?" You
Wow.
have to be open to it. You have to be like you just have to, like, be open to the stuff, you know? And
Yeah.
then you'll weed through and you don't have to like everything and you know what I mean? Like, it just happens and sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. But if you do it enough times, like, I mean, I was known as the kingmaker because, 8 those 8 brands I
All
told you
your
about.
yeah,
Yeah.
your brands were
Glamful
popping.
sold for $250 million. I'm not giving away secrets. It's a publicly owned company, Estee Lauder. Smile Actives got sold to Guthrie Ranker. You probably see them in all the infomercials.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, Marula oil got sold to Paul Mitchell.
Mhm.
I had some that
Wow.
were sold to L'Oreal.
That's
Remember this is
incredible.
the same week that when they all got sold, it was the same week Clarisonic got bought by L'Oreal. So it was a whole disruption, yeah. So anyways, so that's what I did. So I launched. I was not perfect, but it was great. And I have adjusted it many times, but so small that like no one would know but me, you know.
Mhm.
And the very first week, because of my reputation, I mean, because I'm also like for instance, someone said, "Hey, Hannah, this bottle is cracked that just got delivered." I'm like, "I'm sending you a new one." And they're like, "Okay, do you want to send it back?" I'm like, "No, it costs me more for you to send it back." They're like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And I don't make them send me pictures and fill out a freaking return form.
Like,
Like,
that's not what people are
customer
used to
service.
in the industry when they're having to
Totally.
go through all of those loops. So, wow.
Totally, and they know they can Instagram me personally, and I always answer them, which happens all the time. I mean, that's how we met, right?
I
And so
know.
well, we met at the gala, but when we met, yeah. So,
But
so
still,
yeah,
yeah.
so everybody knew that. They knew that they could take a chance on me, and if they didn't like it, they could return it or whatever, right? So the very first week I launched, I was in 112 spas. Yeah. So it's like, oh, I guess this is gonna be a real thing.
Like, this
And
is
so
working. This is good. I guess I did it. I guess I
yeah.
am a maker.
So imagine, so I launched, so I essentially lost my business. All those brands got bought in February 2018. I launched August 1st. So as this company well is taking off, I'm closing down my other company.
Wow. How did you deal
So
with the emotional, like, roller coaster of
I
all of
went to the
that?
bathroom and threw up several times a day. I'm not joking. Like I literally, that's what I did. I would check my bank account, like, because I knew there was money coming in because I had all this product and everything, but it's all cash flow. Like
Yes.
people pay when they feel like paying sometimes. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
because I have a lot of resorts and they're on these 30-day nets and stuff. But the payroll was twice a week. And
Yeah,
I do not mess with people's money, you know?
girl.
And
Right.
so I stopped paying myself in February and didn't pay myself the whole year. And then so I could get through payroll. And then yeah, so I tell a whole story about it on my blog because everyone, of course, is like, what happened to Aesthetic Ambassadors? It was like this huge company. What happened to it? Because they still saw me constantly all the time because I was
Like, so
launching.
what happened?
So you know what I mean? Like they were like, she's still there. What happened to the company? So I finally, because I also, what we post on Instagram or TikTok or anything is so cute and so pretty and oh, the world is so great. And I said, you know what, this is like not fair. I'm like, I'm not going to stop doing it. but, I'm like,
Yeah.
but it's not fair for people who are struggling to think that I'm not struggling. So I wrote this huge blog and I was like, let me tell you about my year. And I talked about going to the bathroom and throwing up because I wasn't sure if I was going to make payroll. And then putting on my happy face and being like, hey guys, everything's good, because I had to support my team, so yeah, so it was,
Mhm.
yeah. Anyways, there's the history lesson. And before it
Wow, that
actually,
is so
yeah.
amazing. Hannah, I'm gonna tell you, I did not know your full story like that, girl.
No, I haven't even told you about when I was in radio and ran nightclubs for 9 years. That's a whole other story. See?
Wait, so okay, let's back up because I don't know if you know, in a past life I was a DJ. So we're there. We're
You
there,
would have
baby.
been, I would have hired you first for my nightclubs because to me, female DJs were so hot.
They're
I
the
thought they were,
vibe, right?
dude, they're so cool. So
I
like
know.
I is you would have been you would have been
We
my
would
rep.
have been, yep, we would have been day ones for
100%. Yeah,
sure.
no, I was in radio for 9 years. I ended up becoming the marketing director for 20 radio stations in Southern California. And then I, at the time, was watching all these promoters promote clubs, and all they were trying to do is get laid and like have free drinks and like
Yeah.
do coke in the bathroom. And I'm like,
Girl,
you guys are idiots. Like, this is so much money. You know what I mean? Then you
on
guys
the
are screwing it
table.
up. So I went to all these different club owners and I was like, me, I'm a business person, like I don't even drink. And so I'm like, how I am and all this stuff. I go, let me take over the night. Like, don't worry about it. And they're, yeah, that's fine. Cause they were all ready to get rid of these guys all the time anyways, because they were such.
Yeah.
And so I ended up, the word spread and they were like, she brings in all this money and she's no drama. And so I was all about my cash.
Dude, it sounds
Cash
like not
flow.
only are you all about your cash, but you're
Yeah.
all about like utilizing your connections too.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds like you're leaving such a positive footprint so that when people hear about you, or maybe they don't know you per se, but they've heard about you, they know what work ethic comes with working with
Yes.
you. And so
Yeah.
it's like perfect example of like your reputation precedes you, like
Mhm.
100%. What do you think was a big catalyst in you building your reputation? Because I mean, when you're walking into those kind of stuffier trade shows,
Yeah.
it takes a lot to carve that out for people to take you serious.
Yeah. So, okay. So you can do this two ways. Okay. So I have lots of
Okay.
tricks. Let me tell you my tricks. Okay. So in this industry, we're surrounded by women. and you have women, we are naturally guarded,
Yeah.
okay, about any new women coming in. A lot less than it used to be, but it still happens. And
Mm-hmm.
you just have to smile your way through the wall and just be nice and make yourself say hi. So I was telling my fiance the other day, I said, yeah, my trick is that when I walk into a room and it's filled with people and I'm like, oh, I don't leave my people. What happens is you automatically do this. We as women, we do this thing where because we're always holding our phone in our hand, where we like look down our phone. We're not looking at anything. We're like
There's
trying to
nothing.
figure out what to do right now, right?
It's the
So,
screensaver of my cat.
okay. We're just trying to figure out because we're uncomfortable. We come back, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what I always do is when I walk into a room, I walk and you have to have like a smile, like, oh, this is so fun. Like, I don't care how scared you are, just like have because that's everyone's first impression because everyone looks at whoever just walked in. You head straight to the bar because then you'll have walked through the room. And if there's a bar right here, don't be a cheater. If there's a bar in the back, go to the back and walk through the room. You'll most likely find someone that you know. So it'll get you through that moment. But if not, you get to the bar, you stand in line, you automatically start talking to whoever's in line at the bar also.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of breaks it. But you also give yourself another moment to look for friends. Like, where are they? You know what I mean?
Where's
Like,
my people?
but the presence that you're making in the room is solid. It's a boss, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so you don't look timid. So then people aren't timid about approaching you, you know?
Okay.
And then when you're smiling, and it's not like, ha, 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 it's like, oh, this is so nice. Yeah, this is so nice. You know what I mean? So
Like
it's
I'm
like,
happy to be here.
yeah,
Like,
like, oh, everybody looks
oh,
so
I'm glad
nice.
I
That's
came.
kind of like the vibe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it gets you through that first moment. Okay.
Okay.
If you're walking through a crowd, you stand up straight and you walk with your head up. Do not be looking at stuff. Feel free to look around, but you are creating a presence in the room, a silent presence, and people can feel your vibe.
Yeah, they can.
Now, I'm going to say this because this is my soapbox. Do not ever lean when you're taking a picture. Okay?
Oh,
Everybody leans.
yeah.
Okay?
I love a good lean.
Into their
Okay, don't
friend.
lean.
Don't lean
We're not
because
leaning.
no. Okay, so next time I want you when you're with anyone, take a picture of yourselves when you're leaning into each other, like or if you're leaning into your friend or if you're standing up straight. Okay?
Okay.
You look so powerful in this picture. And that's what's being posted. Okay. Nobody
Okay.
posts. So you look like the one. I promise you, like, take this trick and see what happens in the next 5 to 10 pictures. You will look like everyone's trying to be next to you
Oh my gosh, that is so interesting.
because everyone else automatically leans. So I don't care if you're in the middle or if you're like towards the end, just straight.
Just
And
straight up present.
everyone looks like you look like the most interesting person in the picture.
Wow.
Okay. And that's called self-branding, my friend, because everyone posts their pictures. And so that's the
Mhm.
image you're giving out. And then when what was the other thing I was going to tell you? Yeah, the presence, you have to have the presence, the
You
lean.
gotta have a good presence. You
Yeah.
just, you gotta give that good, like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
And just
someone that you might want to know, or
right. And
if
then
you do meet me, it's a good interaction.
yeah, like you're like you're welcome. But
Yes.
like for me, like I'm a very goofy, like I'm silly, and I love hard and I love to laugh and joke around.
Hmm.
Like I'm always playing jokes on people, like Boldajar that owns Eminence. I
Yeah.
I have my own Eminence apron I had made, and I stand in his
Girl.
trade show booth, and I tell everyone that it's jam and that it's great on toast. And he's like, "Get out of my booth!" But everyone knows what I'm doing. So I'm
Yeah.
silly, but you don't know that about me. Why would you, right? And so, like, once people are talking or you're talking to someone else, just be nice, just like, even if you're like so shy, like just be nice, just be yourself. Because when people get to know me, they're like, oh, you're so different than I thought you would be. I'm like, yeah, because I don't lean.
Because I'm not looking at my phone.
Yeah. So it's a double,
funny.
and then what happens is people automatically want to work with you. They automatically want to refer business. They automatically, and also just tell people, like, if you messed up, and then all guards come down. Like, if you're like, like this morning when I was like,
Yeah.
how much time? Because I forgot to put you in my calendar. I'm like,
I was like, oh
up.
my gosh, and I gave her a panic attack this early in the morning.
No, it was my fault. I didn't put it in my calendar, so it's just one of those things. You just say it, and then everyone's like, oh, she's easy to work with. She's easy to be friends with. She's easy to refer business to, and that kind of thing. So those are my words of wisdom.
They're great and wise words. I will tell you this for sure. It's definitely somebody's finding some value from that. Real quick, if you guys are liking the episode so far with Hannah, make sure you guys are checking out her website. Hannah, what's the website that they can go to? It's Well Products Inc.
But then you can also check out my Instagram is at Hannah Murray Duncan, exactly like my name is spelled out. That's hannahmurrayduncan.com, at Hannah Murray Duncan on Instagram and also on TikTok.
Just in case you're following along and you're like, okay, now I need to literally, if you're listening and you're not watching like the YouTube video, which you should be, but if you're driving or something in your car, I'll give you a pass. So yeah, if you want to like put a face to the voice and kind of wonder like, who is this mega superstar who's actually like knocking down doors, Hannah, go over to her Instagram and make sure you guys give her a follow. Hannah, I'm curious. So did you feel like coming into the industry, you had any challenges as like a woman boss in the beauty industry? Just because, I mean, we sell to women. It's kind of sad, actually, how much this is still a stigma in the community. What do you feel like is helping you break down that wall?
You have to be supportive of other women. And then when other women see that, then they want to be supportive of you. There's so many people. Back then, I won't even talk about back then because it was such a different time, right? So right now, when you are promoting other women and not asking anything of yourself, like for instance, if you were to share your audience were to share this podcast, right? And be like, oh, this is such a great, podcast. Listen, I loved it, whatever, then that's being supportive. If you are reposting someone's Instagram post, that's being supportive. But it's not like we go, oh, she supports other women. It's something intrinsically inside of us that we just feel like she supports other women. She's passing the torch. I think that really breaks down a lot of walls. The other thing is that when you are just so yourself, like you said, a vibe, right?
Yeah.
People feel it, right? You're not putting on airs. You're not trying to make everything so wonderful all the time, right? Of course, there's times that we do, right? If I'm brunching with my girls, there are some highly filtered pictures happening.
Yes.
Trade show, I look like I've been at
perfect.
that trade show for 10 hours. You know what I mean? Like it's just whatever, right? But when you're so just being yourself, people feel it. When you're putting up a front, people feel it.
Yeah,
it's
they do.
like you put up a wall, like this invisible wall. So I had this person that I did business with before, and it was so funny because she would try so hard to seem like she was nice, right? And seem like she was friendly. But she would literally say to me and anybody who would listen after a couple of glasses of wine, yeah, I hate people. Oh my God, like
what are you doing
here? Like she's like, I just hate people. And people sometimes they just do, right? Like and I don't understand them, but I hear this, but people knew that. So it didn't matter how nice she was in public. It didn't matter like that she was funny or that she was like the best person to pick your wine at dinner, like which she was.
Yeah.
I didn't want to ever be around her. You know what I mean? therefore you
If the
also
energy didn't feel right.
yeah, yeah, like she was fine, but I don't need to be around her again.
Yeah.
You know?
That was a good experience. I'm good.
Yeah, like that's fine. If she's sitting at the table, I just no hurt, doesn't hurt anybody, but no thank you.
That's so so do you feel like there are people that you have learned to transition away from just in
Oh
general
my
and
gosh,
it's helped you
yes.
grow?
Yes. Okay, listen, I'm 46 years old. It is no joke what they say about like each generation, how 30 is easier and then 40s you just don't care. Like there is a reason why like once you're in your 40s, like they say you're in your prime, like it's the best time of your life. I can promise you it is the best time of my life. Like I'm
Let's
having
go.
more fun because it's just such a weight off your shoulders to realize that you don't care. You know, it's really funny. So I'm gonna give you a couple of tricks though, because not everybody is 40s like me. So we haven't reached that point yet.
Not
So
just yet.
yeah, so I'm gonna share with you a couple of tricks. Okay. Whenever you're worried about what someone thinks, I want you to look at what that person is doing.
Oh,
Okay.
like
So if someone has an opinion about the way you're running your spa or your social media or anything like that, I want you to look at what they're doing. Is their social media fabulous? Do you wish your page looked like theirs? Is their spa like having so much success, like they can't even keep up?
yeah.
Like, because if not, then shut up. Shut
Mhm.
the hell up. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's always the
absolutely.
people not doing something that are gonna rain on your parade,
Ooh,
right?
girl.
Once you realize that, it totally takes away their power of their opinion, okay?
Wow,
Because if
yeah.
you let that set, it starts self-doubt, you know?
Mhm.
So, the first thing I want you to do is say, like because I bet you, like, if you had anyone ever tell you something negative, they probably weren't even in the industry,
Girl, they're not. I'm like, "What are you
okay?
talking about?"
The last person that told so they have no idea, right? They're probably not doing their own thing, right? The person I'm telling you in my life who has the most opinion about what I'm doing is one miserable, a miserable human being. But two is a total corporate person, okay? That is fine. That's fine for them. But that means they do not understand,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And they don't have the same goals. They don't have the same dreams. Happy to them is not what is happy to me.
Mhm.
You know what I
Mm.
mean? And so when I walked away from Aesthetic Ambassadors, which was the name of my distribution company, when I walked away from Revitalash, I made so much freaking money when I worked at Revitalash. It's a crime how much money I made, okay?
Yeah,
But I was miserable.
yeah.
Miserable, okay, for
Mhm.
all kinds of reasons, but I was miserable, and I was like, I cannot keep waking up feeling like I was in a fight all night long, you know? So, of course, I was at the top of my game, and everyone was like, "What are you doing? This is the worst decision you've ever made," and blah, blah, but then I started Aesthetic Ambassadors, and then I was making another ridiculous amount of money and getting even more accolades, and I started speaking more and all this stuff, but if I had listened to these people that had all these opinions, I would have never done it, you know?
Yeah.
So and look at I listened to them when they said to create a product, and I don't even like creating products. No, I don't
Well,
like the operations. I found that I'm not good at operations. I'm not good
so
at
what do you do with that? Do you have somebody who does that then?
yes. So I had it's not like I'm making this stuff in my kitchen, like even when I first started, I had a small manufacturer. I live near LA. And
Mhm.
so I had that. And then when I grew and then I got into other countries, then I moved it all to the East Coast. And so much bigger facility and I put someone else in charge. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Mhm.
and I'm on a rant about not liking it today because we're having supply issues. I'm like,
So it's not for
it's
me.
one thing if like I have to work a 16-hour day, like that's something I can control, but I can't control when a freaking boat is stuck on its way here from China with my bottles. You know
There's
what I mean?
nothing you can do about that at
Nothing,
all.
and there's something in me that just goes crazy. So yeah, that's why I'm on a current rant today. But anyways, so yeah, so it's just one of those things. But yeah, you have to just realize like just do that trick for me. Like if anyone
Yeah.
has any negative thought or has something to say to you, the last person that said told me that that's not how you run a business. I'm like, you don't have a job. Shut up. Like,
Please
get
don't tell
yourself a
me.
job and then tell me how am I supposed to run my business? Never mind, you've never owned a business. So whatever. You know what I mean? So
Well,
just think
yeah.
about it that way because I promise you, anyone who's doing good only wants to help the next person.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, circling back to your woman question and conversation, women do that. Men do not. Okay.
Wow.
Men do not help other men. Period. End of story. My ball. I'm running with my own ball. No, thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
I can tell you about all men in this industry, and all men do not. It doesn't mean they don't support women because they do. They have to.
Mhm.
They have to. So it's true
By
for
osmosis,
women,
you got to.
but we've trained them up like they do, right? But they do not share with other men.
Wow, that's something that they need to work on or figure out because
Yeah.
yeah, that's an
Whereas women, we
interesting
can work
show.
together all day long and support each other and have a great time and, and do all these things. So like I work with other companies all the time, men and women owned. So like I have a partnership with Circadia. I have a partnership with Lightstim. I have a partnership with Dermaplane, Image, Eminence, Comfort Zone. I have partnerships with all of them. And all the men owned companies are like, don't partner with anyone else. I'm like, I'll do what I want. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, that's yeah,
It's just a thing. It's just a thing,
something to
So,
know for sure.
yeah, it's very interesting. Like when you think about little kids, right? I was at Mandalay, no, where was I at? Virgin Hotels in Las Vegas last week. And I watched 5 little boys come from 5 different places and start playing together in the pool, right? They
Mhm.
don't care. Little girls stick to right next to their mom, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they don't go and just play with other little girls, right? But somewhere when they grow up, men become very competitive with each other and women become friends with each other. So thank
You
God.
know, it might be survival. It
It
might be like a
could.
survival
That's
thing.
actually good. That's a good one.
Like
You
when
might
you
be
think
right.
about it, that's such a crazy observation. I never really thought about that because, you know, initially when you get into the industry, you're worried about people are always like, well, somebody else is an esthetician or they do this, they do that. So, you
Mhm.
know, I don't know if I can refer you, blah, blah, blah. The way that I look at it is you can refer me and 7 other people. Let the people decide. There's
Yeah.
more than enough of us. I can literally tell you what I'm doing.
Yeah.
The difference is it's me.
Yeah.
So if you want the
Exactly.
Chandali experience, you got to come over to Chandali to get that.
Yes.
Um, but Laura's great and Sarah's awesome, and you can check out all of those people. And I think maybe I don't know somewhere you lose that competitive piece because you just want to see your friends do well. Like I
Right.
do. I
I
want
do the
all
same
women
thing.
owned business to win.
Right. Well, and here's the other thing too is if you're talking shit about people, you automatically turn people off.
Yeah.
There's a million reasons why, but you just do. Okay? Because then they know that that's who you are. If you don't and you just talk about your strengths and you're friendly and you come off friendly, they just automatically gravitate to you. So I'll give you an example. My 3 biggest competitors are for Well CBD is Hugh, who owns Cosmetic, um, Vital Body, which is a women-owned brand also in California, and then Tara, who's owned by Zents.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then me. We're the top 4. And we have very different personalities. Excuse me. We have very different personalities of who we are. And I tell people all the time, all of us work. All of us are clean. You will be good with any of us. That we mostly have the same kinds of products, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for instance, like Vital Body has a lot of things that's mostly lavender. And Hue has things that are very medicine-y smelling. And Antara has things that are more herbally smelling. And then I have stuff that smells like lemongrass and tea tree oil. I'm the pretty one. And that's what I always
Yeah.
tell. I'm the pretty one,
I'm the pretty one.
Yeah. So I said, but we all work equally well. But it comes down to, is this brand a good partner for me? And does the brand fit the personality of my spa? my clientele. We're all very similar price points as well. So again, when people say, what's the difference? I'm like, oh, I'll give you nothing technical as an answer because it's all a preference after that, just like you were saying. Anybody can do, most estheticians can do an enzyme peel, an oxygen mask, a hydrofacial. You know what I mean? Like these are like things that we do, right?
Yeah.
And not me because I'm not an esthetician, but you know.
Yes.
And as a layperson, as a regular consumer, you don't know the difference in the quality of things, right? So it comes down to trust,
Hmm.
and your final work. And they can only know that if you got to put your hands on them, So, but
Yeah.
I highly encourage TikTok and Instagram. I can go on a whole nother tangent about that, but
Let's
yes.
go into that tangent because
Okay.
you're talking about trust. And a lot of times I have people who come to me and they're like, Chandali, how do I build clients? I
Yeah.
just graduated. I need clients. I just
Yeah.
need them.
Okay. I want
Social
everyone to
media.
go to TikTok, and I want them to go and start following Boho Med Spa. Okay.
Okay.
Her name is Holly. She is in the Dallas area. She has 1 million followers. Okay. She does not pay for any of them. And she does these ASMR kind of facials or whichever, right? But she's silly. She's also very knowledgeable. She has 5 kids, okay? And, she has a great staff, and I swear to you, I have never seen someone sell so much retail in my life as far as a day
Wow.
spa, med spa goes. She's a med spa. And she's completely taking over, like, this entire floor of this office building, this, doctor's office building. She keeps buying out her neighbors. It's hilarious. But she has 1 million followers, and, like, her videos get, like, 56,000 views. She has a
Wow.
waiting list,
Yeah.
and just incorporate some of, like, things that she's doing, because it's really funny. I give a whole class on this, when I just went to Aruba. I was sent to Aruba last year in November to speak to all the heads of Hilton, Marriott, Four
Fun.
Seasons, all of them. Yeah, yes. I spoke to them and I was like, get it together. Like, get on TikTok, get on Instagram, like this is where your new audience is. And so anyway, so the whole thing is that that's part of building the trust, right? So when you're trying to get new clients and everything, if they're first, how do you promote yourself? How do you build trust with people that haven't met you yet? You create these videos. And so it's a it's just like, it's just like when like somebody like we could talk about like somebody on Instagram or whatever, you're like, oh no, we're best friends and you've never met the
We're
person, right?
friends. Like we're
Yeah,
friends.
we're besties. Like I have a couple of besties that I call my Esty bestie or my Facebook bestie, because we talk
Yes.
all the time. We have never met in person. I talk to them constantly on social media, right? But it's also a thing where if you never talk but you watch them all the time, you feel like you know them. And
Yes.
then they can be like, oh my gosh, I have acne and I'm watching her do this acne facial. Okay, I'm going to call her, and this is the
Hmm.
way to promote yourself. And so, it just builds and it builds trust because they get to watch you work, you know?
Yeah. That's
So,
100% right on the money. I mean, when you like just think about it this way. If you had never seen like a place that you were going to go eat out at, you had never
right,
seen their food ever, you would be leery to try
right,
it. You'd be
right.
like, I don't know about this. Has
We always look
anybody
at the
survived
pictures.
eating it?
Yeah, we always look at the pictures.
You do.
I think
You look at
I
the
look at
menu.
pictures more than the reviews, Yeah,
Exactly. Yes. You need to, have something out there that shows that you know what you're doing, you're confident in doing it.
mhm,
And what better place? I don't even think about social media anymore as, um, I guess, how people use it on a daily basis. I think of it as like my portfolio.
yes,
This is my showcase. So
yes,
you kind of get an idea of who I am before, like you said, we ever even speak. You
right.
know that I like a dark aesthetic because my room is black Clearly,
Like,
I like
listen,
a
I'm
normal
gonna go and get a facial and a nap is what I'm gonna get. Like that's my vibe when I go see you. And people love that. You know what I mean? I get 35-minute facials. I walk in and I'm literally texting as she's doing a facial, but she's that way and I'm that way. She gives me nothing fancy. I'm getting I'm getting those top layer of my skin stripped off, and then I'm on my way. Because I have
good.
things to
You're
do. Like,
moving on.
right. But then when I go visit my clients and everything, then I get to be spoiled because they want me to experience the whole experience with my own products. And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, my products are the shit.
yeah, they are. Oh my God. So
They
do
teach
you?
me everything, right? So, but yeah, so what experience do you need? You know what I mean? Or what are you looking for? Or what help can you get? So,
Yeah, yeah,
so,
absolutely. So do
but
you offer wholesale pricing to estheticians currently?
yes, yes. So if you go to my website and you click on wholesale, don't
Okay.
click on the sign in because that's for consumers. Click on wholesale, and then you'll automatically get all the things. And you'll see all kinds of products that are not on the regular site.
Oh,
Specifically, like I have like a little bundle. It's called the SD Bestie. And then
yeah.
I have a bundle called the Massage Bundle, which was, very, very cool name I thought of. And
Yeah, no, that is a great name. That's amazing.
so,
It's gonna do something with massage, right?
right. So but it's so funny because like you watch all these things and I love analytics. Like I hate math, but I love analytics. And I'm
Oh,
like,
me
oh,
too.
whenever anybody buys a serum booster, they buy a rose water. Like I should bundle this, and give them a discount to encourage it. So yeah, it's just really funny. So yeah, those are on there. All the pro sizes are on there and all the
Okay.
all the things, all the things. And then I have like little flash sales that I don't tell anybody else about, only the people online that I'll have like when I randomly feel like it. But like it'll be my birthday in August. So I always have a flash sale on
Nice.
my birthday. Yeah, or the company's birthday. But I
Oh
had
yeah.
I had a flash sale on my birthday too. I just woke up that morning. I'm like, flash sale.
I was born. You are all welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
funny.
But
So
yeah, it's very funny.
where do you see your brand going in the next couple of years? I mean, I feel like this is the perfect time
Yeah.
for products to like
Yeah.
get some next things going. What do you see happening for you guys?
So it's kind of like, anyone owns their own business, right? I don't care how big or small the business is. Like it is a whole life journey and the business is part of it, right?
Hmm.
So I didn't even tell you this, but I have a, I have a second company.
Girl, by the way, I just got another whole business. So I'm doing a lot of that.
No, wait, no, I got more. I got more for you. You don't even know this about me. So I have another company called Founders Factory. Okay. Isn't that a cool name? I love
Yeah.
that. That's my fun name. Yeah. And it's for founders, for anybody so I'm launching an online university-ish kind of a course next month, and it's going to teach people how to start their own business and launch their own products.
Hannah,
So if you
you are
haven't
so
started
on
following,
the money, babe.
so
What?
if you haven't started following me yet, follow me now because I'll announce it. So it should be launched right after 4th of July weekend while I'm in Nigeria with my fiance.
What are y'all doing in Nigeria? I need to know.
So my fiance lives in Nigeria. He's an
Oh, wow.
actor. Yeah, he's an
Nice.
actor, like full on, like watches movies on Netflix. Like he's hilarious. He was actually just listening to me and he just hung up probably because he was gonna go feed the dogs or something. But because it's 9 o'clock at night. Actually, yes, that's exactly what he's doing right now. I know his whole schedule. And so we met on TikTok.
Nice. I am
Like,
just obsessed with
I'm
you.
gonna tell you something. You will never be bored with me.
I
Okay.
won't. I will not. Like, you need
Yeah.
to be like a regular just on the this is
Yeah.
updates with Hannah.
Yeah, I'll do updates with you from Nigeria in the middle of July, no problem. But yeah, you can see our whole story is on Instagram and TikTok. Like, and we have our own page on TikTok. It's a whole thing
Oh my
because he's an
gosh.
actor, so he's well known in Nigeria. And then um he's just so funny. And then I'm the white girl in Nigeria, so everyone follows us around.
Yeah, as they should. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah,
Tap
it's very
in.
funny. I'm gonna have to take a video this time now that I know what happens. Like when we go to the mall, I have to take a video. But like people were wanting to pose with us and like pose with me. These women in like the most beautiful gowns are like wanting to pose with me, and I'm in shorts and a t-shirt. Like, sorry.
Well, a lot of times, like, it's because of your skin. Like,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
don't really
So,
see
no,
like
they
white
swear
people
I'm
in
gonna break.
person like that.
They swear I'm gonna break. Like if we're in the car and he sees like a ray of light hitting me, he's like, he puts his arm around me. He's like, babes, how are you doing? I'm
I will
like,
use my melanin to protect you.
like, he just said to me yesterday, he goes, don't forget the bug spray and don't forget the sunblock. I'm like, I got all the cooler. They've hooked me up. I'm good to go. Like, you should see my trip being sponsored by all the brands because they're so excited for me to go back. Because I went in December for a month, and then I
Uh-huh.
go back for a month in July, and then we get married in December, and I'm having the whole Nigerian wedding, like
Oh
the
my
whole thing. So
gosh.
excited, yeah. And so, and when we're working on him coming with immigration and everything, but it's like a whole experience, and I'm like down. I'm like down for everything. Like I'm excited.
Yes. I'm
So anyway,
excited for you. That sounds
thank
so
you.
fun. Congratulations,
Thank
love.
you. Thank you. So yeah, so sorry. I totally went on. I digressed. I just knew that
No,
that would
I
crack
love
you up.
love.
So let me
I'm so pro
I knew that
love.
was so left field that would entertain you. So um so
That
so
got
with
me.
I know I knew it would, right? So anyway, so about your question, as like it's such a much more loaded answer than normal because my founder's factory is taken off, and that is where I go and I speak. All the place, like I was talking about Aruba, I speak at several places. I also help brands come into the United States, which is a whole nother story. And then I also launch brands for people. And so right now I'm working on 4 skincare lines that are going to launch by the end of the year that I've built for other people.
Oh
Okay.
my
And
gosh.
so again, let this be a lesson to you. I'm not an esthetician. Okay. But I know enough
Yeah,
to
you
like,
do.
I know about launching companies and brands. So I'm launching these brands for a chain of spas, for other estheticians, like whichever, and they're big lines. And so they'll be launched by either the end of this year or first quarter of next year. And that's what I do. So that's when I was like, of course, everybody asks me questions and everyone thinks it's so much harder than it is, which I'm totally giving all the secrets away now. It's so not, and it's especially like you just don't know what you don't know, you
Yeah,
know? And
absolutely.
so there's that. But then there's also, but you don't know how easy it is and how we all cheat, honestly, to create our own stuff, you know? So
Uh-huh.
I'm going to teach everyone else how to do it because everyone should do their own, like have their own things. So whether it's hair, nails, skin, makeup, like you can take my course and I tell you, this is what kind of testing you need. This is what you should tell the manufacturer. This is how you make sure you're not getting ripped off. This is how you time
Wow.
things. Yeah, I teach them everything as if like this is what I do because I do it all the time, you know?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
um, yeah. So,
That's huge.
and I talk about the good and the bad. So that's what I'm going to do with the course. And then people are like, well, why are you making it so cheap? I'm all, because I'm not doing the work. Like I'm just going to tell you. I'm just going to tell you what to do, and then you let me know, and that's where I get my joy. Is like when
Yes.
someone actually follows through. Oh, hells, I can't wait. And part of that is the Facebook group where everyone's going to exchange ideas and talk about like what they need help with. And then I go in and I help them. So if they're stuck, I'm there to help them, So I'll do
So
a
then they
live.
have that network as well that can,
Yes.
provide some resources for them.
Right, right. And
Wow.
if you watch my TikToks and my Instagrams, I also am very much talking about promoting other women. I went to a women, where did I go to? Olivia Spa in January, and I interviewed some of my favorite women business owners. And I said, what is it you wish you would have known then? And so there's insight like that it's like, oh man, if I would have only known, I
That
could have myself so much time and money and stress and all
Well,
of those
yeah.
things.
I mean, I had so I went through a cohort just recently with some mentors. I
Mhm.
was trying to get some grant funding. I actually was able to secure funding for my business, so that's really fun. Yay! Um,
Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Lovey. So what ended up happening was they had these mentors who came in, and I was able in that small amount of time,
Yeah.
like, take so many gems that I could apply to my business.
Yes.
And I just thought to myself, gosh, I wish there was something like literally like on the nose of what you were describing that I could just pay to like take, and
Yeah.
that could, I'm not saying skip a lot of the legwork, but if
But it
somebody's
is.
already done that,
But it is.
why am
Yeah.
I doing it?
Yeah. Let me
I'll
give
pay
you,
to learn it.
I'm gonna give you a major secret that no one tells you, okay? This is one of the things that I put in my class. All creams are pretty much the same exact base. All skin creams, okay,
Yeah.
are
Ooh.
pretty much the same exact base. And all manufacturers make this base, okay? Now, you might have one that's cleaner than this one,
Mm-hmm.
right? But then they add their peptides, and then they add their essential oils, and then they add, you know what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
like, that's how I was able to launch a brand in 6 weeks because it's really all the same shit. You just add your own stuff to it, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then it gets a little bit better. So, like, for instance, I'm gonna tell you another story. Can I tell you another
Yay.
story? Okay.
Yes, please.
So I launch in August. Then I'm going to iSpa. If anybody knows about iSpa, it's extremely important if you're in the resorts, okay? And it's at that time it was in November. Now it's in May. So I just launched. I just barely 3 months. I'm on my way to iSpa and I realize I can't believe I'm telling this story in public. I realized I'm like, I heard there was other CBD companies gonna be there, and I'm like, "Son of a," I'm like, "I gotta stand out." I'm like, "Nobody knows what these people need like I know," you know, because 'Cause I've been in the business so long, so I was like, "I should have done a Christmas set." Like, stupid, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, "All right." So I'm driving to Arizona from California, that's 7 hours, and I'm
Mhm.
thinking the whole way, and I'm like, "I'm just gonna make one up." So I get to Arizona and I go to Michael's and Whole Foods, okay? And at Michael's, I go get one of these little white gift boxes, the clear lid. Then I go to and I also get one of those like cookie bags, cellophane cookie bags, okay? Then I fill it, go to Whole Foods. I have to buy like 6 Himalayan salt jars that are expensive, right?
Yes.
But I needed enough. And I put it in this bag, and then I taped it from the to the back, right? And then I also bought, like, this crushed stuffing for the box, and I put one of my creams and this bag of salt on it, right? That looks so pretty, it was pink. Then I took more salt and I put it in a little bowl, and I got lavender essential oil, and I was like, 2 drops, well, stir. I think 1 more drop. Yeah, that smells good. And I asked my friend, "Well, does it smell good?" She's like, "What are you doing?" I go, "I'm making a new product, just shush." And she's like, "Oh, does it smell good?" And she's like, "Yeah, it smells amazing." "Oh, amazing. Okay, great. This is done." And I put it in a jar so I could have it out as like a tester at the show. Okay. Then I went to FedEx and I printed out a bath soak sticker and
Yes.
a piece of paper that was big enough that I cut out with scissors that said, um, CBD calm holiday set. Okay. Taped it over the box like it was like a, sleeve. And I freaking presented it and sold 600 at iSpa. And then I went home and said, okay, well, now shit, now I have to actually invest this. You know what I mean? And
I
then
have to make this product. Oh my god,
I was
that's
like, yeah, it
amazing.
ships in 2 weeks.
That is
Again, like, I'll do the
incredible.
work, you know what I mean? And if you think about what is bath soak, it's freaking salt with some essential oil on it. It's all it is, you know?
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
tell anybody I told you. No, just kidding.
I
And
will.
then
I
what's
won't
body
tell
polish?
I won't tell anybody
Yeah,
else.
don't
I
tell
promise.
anybody. And then what's body polish? this bath soak with more oil in it. That's it.
Yes.
You now have
Yes.
2 products, like
Guys, take that. Take that. Take that gym and there you go. But really I mean, we're laughing and joking, but honestly, like here's the reality, Hannah, is there's a percentage of people who are going to do it, and then there is like a 90% that
Mhm.
who just won't, right?
Right.
They won't do those things that are weird or uncomfortable or outside the box. And if you're a business owner or I wouldn't even say business owner, I'd say a hustler, right? Like if
Yes.
you are somebody who's like, you know what, I got what you're looking for.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know what it is, but I got it. When
Yeah.
you're someone like that, it doesn't really matter what you're doing because you're going to do well because you give.
Right.
You're willing to be uncomfortable in that change. I
And do the
sold
work.
this is so funny that okay, I'll tell you a weird story since I haven't shared a story.
Yeah.
Let me give you a weird story and then we'll kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
So I used to own a beauty supply store in my city. I tell people all the time, my failure in owning a beauty supply store led me to my passion, right? Blah. We all have learned from failing, right?
Yes.
Um, and it was a success, so we don't call it a failure, but still, I digress. When I opened my beauty supply store, I wanted people to come buy these products. I was like, you guys need to come in here. Girl, nobody was coming. So
Mhm.
I started going live on social media. Come see me.
Mhm.
One day I took some fabric that I got at Walmart and I
Mhm.
wrapped it around my head, Hannah. And I was
Okay.
like, I just wrapped it around.
Yeah.
My hair was kind of messy that day, I looked a mess, whatever. And somebody on the live was like, "What are you wearing?" I
Stop
was
it.
like, "Oh, this
It's one of my
this
designs.
this is actually one of my unhemmed raw fabric head wraps. Come and see me. When I
Yes.
tell you I sold those head wraps for $7 each, I went to Walmart. I bought all of their bulk of fabric. I cut it
Yep.
all up. I mean, I cut it, Hannah.
Yeah. I'm
I
with
did
you.
2 yards each and I sold them. And I just sold them out. Sold them, sold them, sold them, sold them, sold them. I made like $1,700 that day
Yeah.
selling
Yeah.
nothing.
That's
Nothing.
what happens. So let me tell you my thought about that. You put yourself out there and you were open to whatever. You know what I mean? But
Girl.
if you would have never tried to do plan A, you would have never found plan B. Never.
Nope.
Right?
It would
So
have
that's it's one of my biggest tangents and like why I say you don't have to be perfect when you start because things just evolve, right? But if you don't start, nothing evolves. And that's the biggest like what irritates me the most. And literally I fire clients all the time because I'm like either we're doing this or we're not. You know what I mean? Like I can do it. I can wait for you, but I don't if I have to wait for you for step 1, I don't want
where
to
are we
see what
going?
happens in step
Hmm.
2. When I could be helping someone else who is going to pay me less, but going to do so much more work, you know?
Yes.
And that's so much more fulfilling to me to see that, right? Like it's like I'm raising a bunch of minions and people just
Yeah.
don't even know they came from me because it's I signed NDAs. So
Don't tell
so
nobody, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Like you don't know what's going to happen in your life until you start.
Yeah.
And it's just what happens. And so sometimes you fall, sometimes it gets bigger than your wildest dreams, and sometimes it turns into something completely different.
Yeah.
So I'll go right back to the original question you asked me. Sorry, which was where do I see well? I have no idea. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. The industry's changing so fast. Technology's changing. If you are not on Chat GPT, for God's sakes, get on it.
Get on
It's
it.
so good. Like the most valuable tools I've ever seen in my life right now are Chat GPT and Canva. Like you can
Absolutely.
do anything with those two tools and they're free. And so it's like if you so just start and like I've just told you like the history of like where I've come from and I've believe me I've left out a lot which is crazy but there's just so many things that came that I would and I had a girlfriend that I ran into that I went to high school with and she's like you've always had like the crazy good jobs. And I'm like yeah because I was just crazy like whatever like let's just see what happens. And
Yeah.
So that's what I could tell you. Like, I never consider anything a failure. And believe me, I'll say, whoa, I screwed that up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Sometimes you do, but
But
guess
you
what?
grow.
What's everyone else doing? Nothing. So just whatever, you know what I mean? Like
Just
how I said,
whatever.
call me the kingmaker, right? Or the queen maker, but they have no idea that I've actually screwed stuff up as just as much as I've, launched millionaires. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
but you just learn every time so much more. So yeah, so I've got we'll see what happens and see where it's going. CBD is still pretty volatile, so there's a lot of things that I can't do that if I had if I had a brand that wasn't CBD, I could be doing. Like I can't do any social media. You know what I mean? I can just post. I can't like promote it, nothing.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I'm hands tied behind my back and I love social media. So there's that. But so we're just kind of seeing what happens. I've had some interest from people who want to buy it. Like, I don't know. We'll see. Like, am I ready? Probably not. But if I see enough money, I'll be like, take it. You know?
Okay, yeah, go.
We'll see. We'll see. When I'm ready, I'm ready. And then with Founders Factory, I'm launching this whole online course and I love it. And then I'm marrying a Nigerian by the end of the year. I mean, I got a lot going
A
on.
lot is happening right now. You're gonna just show up, Hannah. The rest will just flow.
You know what I'm saying? Just show up, just do the work. Do the
Yeah.
work. Don't think about what anyone else thinks because I swear to you, they're not doing anything. So it doesn't matter. I'm going to remind you of one more thing. If you need help, the people who are really successful and really are the people that you should be asking for advice are going to be so happy to help you. I have never seen someone who has made it that didn't want to help a person who is willing to do the work.
Yeah.
I've never not seen that person help someone else. Only people who don't know what they're doing and are jealous of other people's success or that you have the guts to do it. Those are the only people that will bring you down,
Ooh,
man or woman. So
girl.
just remember that. Like if you need advice, ask for it. People love helping other people once they've got there. They love helping the next generation. Like during COVID, I called up Michael and Paul and Michael from Circadia and Paul from Creative Juice. And I was like, hey guys, remember when this all happened with us in 2008? They're like, I'm like, I can't wait to see what happens after this. I go, so much cool shit is gonna come from this because that's what happened last time. And they were like, you're sick. I go, no, I swear to God. And look at what's happened. You have ChatGPT, you have Canva, you have TikTok, you have all this new creative stuff because we were locked in the house that people invented and made better and all this stuff. And now it's like we get to play with all this stuff. Like life is so easy to promote anything and to create
It
because
is.
of tools compared to how it was before COVID. The stuff
Girl.
didn't exist. Shopify, that's another one. Like Shopify, you'd have to pay $10,000 to build a site that you can build in 1 hour for like $60 on Shopify. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's crazy. Can I
It's
brag
out
about
there.
one more thing? Can I brag about one more thing I just
You can
realized?
brag about all the things.
Okay, thanks. So for Well products, um, first of all, I'm woman owned, obviously, but I am the only CBD company in the United States allowed to export the United States.
Girl.
Weird. Like,
Talk
doesn't that not even
about
seem
it.
true? Yeah. I keep telling my lawyers, I'm like, hey, if this changes, you better tell me I'm gonna be a liar out here in the streets. And they're like, no, like you're the only one registered. We'll let you know. We'll keep an eye on it. I'm like, this is crazy. And the reason why is because when I first started the company, I literally got walked out of 2 CBD expos or weed expos, I guess, because they were mad of the way that I created my products because they were too pretty and they smelled too good. They didn't smell hempy or medicinal. So therefore I was making a mockery. Well,
What?
yeah, that's what you call a male dominated space. But anyway, so I was literally walked out. They were like, we're going to ask you to leave now. I'm like, oh, okay. That's weird. But anyways, that was pre-COVID. Now I'm the only one that's allowed because I was like, I don't care how you do it. I know how I want to do it. So even
Yeah.
when I first made my products and I called my manufacturers, I was like, listen, I want to make this cream and it's going to be aloe and shea and coconut oil and evening primrose and it's going to be lemongrass essential oil and I want it real buttery and I want all these things. And they're like, okay. So after they made it exactly like I wanted it, I'm like, okay, now we're going to add CBD. And they're like, why didn't you tell us that? We would have made it for you like this. I'm like, exactly. And that's why we're not doing it because that's how everybody else does it. I want to do it for my clients who are the
Yeah.
spa industry. They're clean, and everything else. Then I found out, and again, I teach this in my online course, that you can test all of your products for 10% of the cost, okay, in Greece, which have
Wow.
much higher standards. And then you'll automatically also be approved for Europe.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So if you get them tested, like for instance, in my products, when I first wanted to go to Europe, which I just realized I skipped a step there, but in telling you, but essentially in COVID, I was like, they were giving away free money, these EIDL loans. And I was like, I'm going to take over the world, So I was like, I'm going international, not knowing that no one else was international. I'm just thinking I have, all these people that I can connect with from Revitalash days and aesthetic ambassador days. I have all these leads. I can call people and ask them like, who do you work with? So again, I was like, I'm going to take this money and go international. And that's what I did. But I realized that you could do that. Like you could, like they want to charge me $37,000, $47,000 to test it in the US for EU compliant tests. Okay. I sent it to Greece. They charged me $3,000.
Girl.
I'm approved in 49 countries. I'm in 9 countries. I'm approved for 49. So if you go to my website and buy it, I'm allowed to ship to you. No one else is. And I thought that's crazy. It doesn't make any sense. Like Mary's Naturals, let me see, Mary's Naturals or Charlotte's Web. They've been
Yeah.
around forever. They are the ones to aspire to be. I called them. I'm like, hey, I have something I want to ship to my grandma in the UK. They're like, yeah, so we're going to have to ship it to you and then you'll have to ship it to your grandma. And I was like, oh my God, you really can't. And it's because I did things my way,
Yes, girl.
And so, yes,
Yes.
again, let that be a lesson. Like, screw everybody else, just do whatever you want to do. And then look at what happened. I didn't set out to be the only one. I realized that on the back end because somebody had told me that. They're like, how come you can? It was actually one of my competitors. They're like,
We're
why?
trying to figure out what you did.
Yeah, they're like, what? Why are you talking to this lady from Australia? She's from Australia, right? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, why are you talking to her? Like, you can't ship to her. I'm like, you can't ship to her? Like, I
No,
honestly,
you can't ship to her.
I wasn't trying to be a jerk. Like, I'm like, what do you mean I can't ship to her? I'm thinking to myself, did I miss something? Like, oh shoot, is there a rule? And he's like, no, you can't get approved for the, for Australia, for the EU and da-da. And I'm like,
Wow.
what do you mean I'm approved? And he's like,
You're
how
like,
did you do
we've
that?
been
I'm like,
good.
oh, never mind. I'm not going to tell you.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go.
Yeah, so it's crazy. So
Oh
it
my
was
gosh, Hannah,
so
you
funny.
have been just such a fun interview. I feel like it was not an interview. I feel like this was just like a nice
Hannah's story
chat.
time. Sorry.
Yes, updates with Hannah is what we're calling this episode. People are gonna look at this and gonna be like, we've never got the initial one.
Right. Did I even answer your first question? I don't even know. I'm really sorry.
I think so. No, all questions got answered in some
Okay.
roundabout way, and so that works. But no, you are just like one. I can tell you're just really authentically yourself, and I do the best with that because that's who the hell I am. I'm just
Yeah.
very much me.
Yeah.
And so it's always fun when I get people like that because there's no alternative agenda, right? Like you're just
Right.
here naturally to help. I
Yes.
hope if you are an esthetician or someone in the beauty industry listening, you found this podcast episode really helpful and you share it with a friend, right? That's all we ask. It's completely free to share. Share it with a friend. And Hannah, how can they
We're
connect with you
women.
again?
Say that one more time.
Oh, how can they connect with you again?
Oh, I'm always on my Instagram or TikTok. It's at Hannah Murray Duncan, just like it says. And yeah, TikTok and Instagram. And you can message me and I always answer.
Yeah, guys, that's all you have to
And
do.
my product line is at Well Products Inc.
Wellproductsinc.com, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. There you go, guys.
Thank
Well,
you.
guys, you don't have to go anywhere. Thank you so much, Hannah, for hanging out with us
Thank
today. We
you.
appreciate it. It's always fun. Can you come back again after you
You
get
can come back whenever
married?
you want.
Okay, yay!
Well, I'm telling you, I'll interview with you in the middle of July, and I'll be in a whole like native
Yes,
attire, and then who knows? Maybe I'll start my own Nigerian clothing line. I don't know. We'll
as you
see what
should.
happens.
As you should, Hannah. Oh my gosh, guys, we have an entire playlist over here for Skinizen Studio, so you can binge us, and then also head over to my Instagram, aka Chandali the Esthetician. Whoo, girl, that was a mouthful, so you better go head over there because listen, I said it. Thank you guys again. We will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.